And welcome to day 23 of the Atlantic Hurricane season, day 41 in the Eastern Pacific, and that's where the action is at the moment. Invest 94 currently with a high chance of development, Invest 95E with a medium chance at the moment. In the Western Pacific, things still going on there as well. Tropical depression, Bebinca, downgraded from a tropical storm, I think it was yesterday now, as it moved over the island of Hainan, and Invest 95W as well in the Western Pacific. Not too much going on with that system at the moment, but it may, has a low chance of formation over the next few days. Computer models have it dissipating at the moment in around a day or two. But Invest 94 and 95E both looking decent at the moment in the Eastern Pacific. At least one of them will form by the looks of things. In the Atlantic, you can see here not much going on apart from a little bit of a disturbance off the Northern Carolina coastline, or maybe on the shore actually, which had a 0% near 0% chance by the NHC earlier today. That's now been taken off completely. And the Indian Ocean, not much going on here at the moment either. You can see a little bit of weather going on in the North Indian Ocean around the Bay of Bengal in particular, but nothing out of the ordinary at all at the moment, and nothing that seems like it will develop into a tropical depression or tropical storm or cyclone. So let's take a look at the sea surface temperatures then for today. The Eastern Pacific, fairly warm, especially near the Mexican coastline, 30-degree waters or more, which is obviously very good for tropical cyclones. 26 degrees is the threshold. Same too for the northern Gulf of Mexico in particular, but the whole Gulf is quite warm at the moment. The northern Bay of Bengal, fairly warm, around 30 degrees, and the South China Sea, especially towards the southeast near the Philippines, very warm waters here, perhaps up to 32 degrees Celsius at the moment. So let's take a look at the current situation in the Western Pacific then. First of all, Tropical Depression Bebinca, Philippine name was Fabian, currently with winds of 30 miles per hour, pressure 998 millibars, currently forecasted as of 9 PM UTC to move into China as a tropical depression in the next 36 to 48 hours at the moment. It's currently located in that little area between Hainan Island and the Vietnam coastline, the Gulf of Tonkin, and that's currently at position 19.3 north, 108.6 east at the moment, and is not likely to intensify into a tropical storm. And we have Invest 95W as well, which is not too far from the island of Yap, and is currently expected to move near that island as an invest, of course, and is not expected to intensify over the next 48 hours, and indeed is expected to weaken and perhaps even dissipate over the next 2 days or so. But we'll see what happens with that one. It could cause some rainfall over the island of Yap in the next few days, so that could be a little bit concerning, perhaps with a little bit of heavy rainfall there. So let's take a look now at the Eastern Pacific. First of all, Invest 94E now with an 80% chance of development in the Eastern Pacific to a tropical storm, and currently with winds of 30 miles per hour, 1007 millibars the pressure. And Invest 95E, which currently has a 30% chance of formation in the Eastern Pacific. There you can see how their paths are likely to cross over the next few days, and some models have Invest 95E absorbed into Invest 94E, and others don't form Invest 95E at all, but it seems fairly likely at this stage, all models agree, that Invest 94E will form and become quite a significant storm out there in the Eastern Pacific. So here's the latest satellite imagery over the last 24 hours or so in the Western Pacific. You can see Bebinca, what's left of it, moving over the island of Hainan and then moving out over that Gulf there, and we also have a bit more weather moving over the Philippines there, but nothing that's likely to turn into a tropical system anytime soon. And what's left of Bebinca is likely to, well, it's already moving over Vietnam there and could cause some significant rainfall. Invest 94E, you can see here on this floater imagery, again it's out together, but so it appears, and it's likely to move towards the west-northwest. It's fairly slow movement at the moment, and that's likely to continue for at least the next 24 to 48 hours, and then it'll perhaps speed up towards the west-northwest at whatever intensity it may be by then, perhaps a category 1 or 2 storm. Invest 95E is the smaller system. There it is, it's the same zoom level, so you can see how much smaller it is compared to Invest 94E at the moment, and that's moving a little bit to what appears there. The clouds are moving towards the northeast, but I think the storm's still moving slowly towards the west at the moment, but it is likely to move back on itself. As the models show here, you can see it swirling around Invest 95E, Invest 94E rather, as it moves towards the west, and then gets absorbed according to the CMC model. You can see at the very end of that model run as well, another storm forming in the Eastern Pacific. The ECMWF has just Invest 94 forming, no Invest 95 to be seen at all in that one, and another system following after that one as well on the ECMWF model, possibly as a hurricane for Invest 94E there on that one. The GFS also predicts it to become quite a deep storm. Doesn't really show much in terms of Invest 95E either, and predicts another storm forming at the very end of that one, a little bit more to the west than the other ones did so far. The NavGem there, you can see it moving as a significant storm again on that one, what you can see of it, towards the west-northwest. It's fairly agreed upon in terms of the models which way it's going to go. It probably won't affect land. It might cause some whip tides over the Mexican coastlines, though, but no direct interaction with land, so it appears. The GFDL model rather shows the model moving towards the west-northwest, perhaps as a hurricane. The HWRF fairly similar as well, perhaps a little bit weaker predicting on that one as a tropical storm or hurricane. You see category 1 hurricane actually, as it moves towards the west-northwest there. Let's take a look now at the overall predicted season scores then for June the 23rd, 2013 so far. Obviously there's no changes upon yesterday, but if you missed yesterday's update by any chance, the top 3 are as follows. Ken with 105 points, Typhoon Bob with 97, and Hurricane Melissa 20 with 95 points. That's the top 3 at the moment. You can submit your own storm totals at the website force13.com/interactive. Just press the 2013 Predictor Season button and you should find the page where you can see all the all the leaderboard, of course, and then you can submit your own in the submission form. It's certainly not too late to do it at this stage. What happened on this day on June the 23rd then? You can see 1968, Tropical Storm Candy making landfall near Port Aransas, Texas, causing $2.7 million in damages. I think that's the pictured one there. And Brenda peaking as a Category 1 hurricane in the Atlantic, that's also pictured. I think it was Brenda before Candy on that one. Tropical Storm Bonnie formed in the Atlantic in 1986, and Hurricane Cosma dissipated in the Eastern Pacific a little later. I didn't check the date. Tropical Storm Aletta dissipated in the Eastern Pacific in 1994. Alma peaked as a Category 2 hurricane before making landfall near Las Cadenas, causing 17 fatalities. You can see it pictured there. And in 1997, also pictured Tropical Storm Peter formed in the Western Pacific on this day, on June the 23rd. And more recently, 2001, Typhoon Chebi peaking as a Category 3 storm near Taiwan. 2009, Hurricane Andres peaking as a Category 1 storm in the Eastern Pacific. Nanka making landfall in the Philippines, resulting in 6 fatalities that same year. Tropical Storm Darby formed in the Eastern Pacific in 2010. And Tropical Storm Debbie formed in the Atlantic in 2012 last year. I'm sure many of us remember that one. As it moved into Florida last year, 2012 on this day, that one's formed. Don't forget you can track any storm that forms, including the ones that we're currently tracking, at the Force13 website. Force13.com/storm tracking is the place to be. And then it has a nice little table layout now, with a table at the top showing which storms are active, and at the bottom the warnings that are in effect. And then you can click through to go more in depth to the storm tracking maps, and indeed any watch and warning information and any other information on the storm that is perhaps relevant at the moment. Indeed, there are no warnings out there at this moment in time, though we do have a storm that's incoming to the Vietnam coastline, and that will likely cause some heavy rainfall over there. Tropical Storm Bebinca there in the Western Pacific rather, and of course the new storms forming in the Eastern Pacific are not likely to pose a threat, but it may cause a little bit of rough seas along the Mexican coastlines. Don't forget you can visit all the social pages as well, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter, Force13. We're on all of those, if I can get my words out. And don't forget to show your support by following, liking, favoriting and subscribing to those channels. And the next bulletin will be coming up around midnight UTC on Monday, June the 24th, 2013. And if any storms form, or if any interesting stuff happens in between that time, then there'll be another update coming out during the day on June the 23rd, if I'm here and doing the update, if I'm able, because I do have commitments in life as well. But that's it for now.